I'd like to record this one as a personal gesture of support to somebody in Australia who's having a very difficult time with breast cancer, family dynamics, and oftentimes doesn't really feel supported by the people around her. And even the medical system has given up on her condition. So we've been talking, and I'm wanting to experiment with something that I wouldn't commonly experiment with. You might have watched the video about cancer before, and I was suggesting what I used to use was what we used to call 6-4-2. These three balls correspond to the three women from the mother's side of the family. Mother's mother, number 2, her mother, mother's mother's mother, number 4, and mother's father's mother, number 6. These are the three women of the family tree that are primarily responsible for cleaning. And in the process of healing, what we normally do if we're sick, we have a tendency to lay down, or we vomit, or we have a diarrhea, or we need to go through a detoxing function. That's true physically. It's also true emotionally. So these three gates on the mother's side of the family, they rule not only the cleaning of body, but the cleaning of emotions, and quite frankly, the cleaning of the memories held by the soul itself. So these different three, they also correspond to the kidney and the heart, and also to the skin, and interwoven in here is the lungs, the spleen, the bowels. These are the instruments of cleaning. Now, to successfully change one's inner memory, one needs to experience each one of these three by a personal intention. The personal intention on the first one is to feel, and to feel one's self. This is self-image, self-memory, false belief systems about self. This is about self. The second is about others, social dynamics with other people. And the last one, our feeling-oriented relationship to the all, self, others, all. These have three significant gates or locks that we can deal with. So I'm suggesting that you would have an emotional opportunity to really want to feel yourself. And then desire to want to change. Now, this second one is what you're going through now, because that's called the dark night of the soul, where you can feel utterly alone, being in something of a void, an emptiness, a darkness. It is symbolic of the experience of dying. Now, the basic principle is we practice that every night. Yes, this is the same place we go to when we lay down to go to sleep at night. We die to the material world, we open to the spirit world, and we're into a process of transformation. That's why we need to sleep every day. We need the renewal of the spirit world in order to carry on in the material kingdom. This is not an easy place to be in the material kingdom. As nice as it looks around you, this is a tough environment. It's not easy to be here. So we need this process. Now, in the process of doing this, this interior self-image is intentionally increased only by you, which means I need to have a sincere desire to want to feel. Now, what I'm also suggesting is it's ideal to connect that to one's own heart with a sincere desire to feel one's soul. And I'm suggesting that the experience of that is peace. If you live, if you pass, you're still going to be alive. If you live, if you pass, you will live. So I suggest that you just practice. Feel the sincere desire to live in your soul with peace. Then you can amplify that by realizing the link to the sunset time, the peace of the evening, the bedtime experience of number 4, letting go, going into the higher states, number 6. 2, 4, 6. I urge you, for therapeutic benefits, to try this like a minute and a half at least with each one of these, like just self, others, all, a minute and a half, all linked to peace. Now, if you could do that every hour or every 2 hours at least, this will give you the greatest opportunity to link these 3 together. They are already linked, but you can connect them to fluidly help each other, and you will have assistance if you want. On a spirit body level, you can ask for, with faith, your divine guides to help you go through this process. On a social dynamic level, other people can help you who want to. And I already have at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 friends who are aware of what you're going through and who do want to help you. And they know of this system too, and they're going to be engaged in the giving and receiving of a sincere desire to want to engage in your process. But the ability to be able to receive depends on you. There has to be a sincere desire to want to receive. Later on, that sincere desire also is in accordance with the divine. There has to be a sincere desire to want to receive divine love. But you can't go to that divine love too easily unless the self-image really wants to feel sincerely, and the ability to be able to give and receive love is being engaged in a social dynamic way. Love one another is part of that one. Practice this. This 3 months in the Northern Hemisphere, because we're going through these 3 months, 1 month at a time. So while we're going through it, I'm urging you to consider feeling these same 3, even though you're in the Southern Hemisphere. There may be a distinct advantage for you being in the Southern Hemisphere, while some of the people who are helping you on a receive level are in the Northern Hemisphere. So you've got help. Now the work is really up for you to do. But let me show you how I would accelerate this, because if it were me, this is what I would suggest doing. Let me show you another graphic. So you know this side, 2, 4, and 6. And you're associating peace to peace, open to change, open to divine intelligence and divine love. That's 2, 4, and 6. Work on that every day, every hour if you can. On this side, these correspond to the 3 women from the father's family. Number 1 girl, father's mother. Number 3 girl, father's father's mother. Number 5 girl, father's mother's mother. It's nice to have an idea where it's located in the family tree. These 6 are actual people and memories interwoven into your genetic code. What we're also trying to do is use the mechanism of cleaning to open that up and infuse it with an increase of the desire to feel, change, add in the experience of peace through the process. Now, in the Southern Hemisphere, these three grandmothers are dominant in the last 3 months of summer. You're just now entering the first week of two-boy springtime in the Southern Hemisphere. But I would suggest, what I would do is continue to do this, continue to do at least a few minutes in a day of the two-boy month that you're in, to be in harmony with your two-boy month, which is the symbol of fire, dynamic growth, passion. But then I would move over to the women. Why? Because whether or not we understand it, the women of the family tree control the outcome. The three women from the mother's side, they are aligned with the interior processes of the soul. And the three grandmothers from the father's side are interwoven in the physical body. So if we want to change the physical body, we need to change the paradigm on the mother's side first, and then allow those changes to move through the body. The inside controls the outside. So if you're having physical conditions that are life-threatening, it means things are held within the mother's family and are now being expressed through the body. So we change the feminine component, piece into piece into piece, and we move that over to the father's side with father's mother. That also corresponds to the will and to the bones and digestion, to the three girl, which is the regeneration of the body, the holding of the form. This is justice, this is equilibrium, but this is also social dynamic function. This is a community of people who want to help you go through this process. So right here, you can take the experience of the giving and receiving and move that into the physical form, because there will be others who are helping you. And the advantage would be is that the other ones helping you are global. They're from a long ways away. Yes, there's one or two in Australia that also are helping, but there's 2 or 3 more outside of Australia that makes it global. So you have a group of people who want to help you go through this process. The reality is we are benefiting. We're learning. This is an actual, real human being going through a difficult and painful experience that does not need to happen alone. You're not alone. We're doing a global. Family, community, global. Now the goal is to take peace, move it into the family function, into the group function, into the global function. How long? Ideally, at least a minute and a half in an hour, maybe a minute and a half if you forget in 2 hours. So a minute and a half. Now you can do less. You can do 10 seconds of each of these, or in 10 seconds you can do all 3. I do. You can do 10 seconds of all 3 of these. I'm not yet suggesting you do all 6 of them at once. I would certainly do that after practicing a while, but do your best. Just feel, feel, and feel. And did I mention feel and feel and feel? While you're doing that, we're going to do our best to help you through it as well. Regardless of what happens, thank you for the motivation and the opportunity to be able to explore something more personally and more publicly than I would have, but you deserve it. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.